Captain James Carter was going to die today. His spaceship was broken. The oxygen was running out. Earth was millions of miles away. Nobody could hear his last message. He closed his eyes and waited for the end. But then, something impossible happened. A bright light filled his ship. And she appeared. The woman who would save his life. And break his heart forever. James Carter was a space explorer. He traveled alone through the stars, mapping new worlds for Earth. But today, everything went wrong. A meteor storm hit his small ship near the Andromeda system. The engines died. The power went out. Red warning lights flashed everywhere. James sat in his pilot chair, breathing slowly. The computer voice said, "Oxygen remaining, 15 minutes." He laughed sadly. After 5 years exploring the galaxy, this is how it ends. Alone. In the dark. In the middle of nowhere. James recorded his final message to Earth. "This is Captain James Carter. If anyone finds this, tell my family I tried my best. Tell them I saw beautiful things out here. Tell them I wasn't afraid." But he was lying. He was very afraid. James closed his eyes. 10 minutes of oxygen left. Then 5. Then 3. Suddenly, his ship shook hard. James opened his eyes. Outside his window, he saw something massive. A ship. But not a human ship. This ship was huge, made of silver metal that glowed like moonlight. It was alien. James' heart beat fast. First contact. Humanity's first meeting with aliens. And he was alone. A bright beam of light shot from the alien ship into his. James heard footsteps. Heavy boots on metal floors. The door to his cabin opened with a hiss. She walked in. James forgot how to breathe. She was tall, almost 7 feet. Her skin was silver, shining softly in the dark. Her eyes were bright purple, glowing like stars. She wore armor made of white crystal. Behind her, 4 alien soldiers stood with weapons. But James only looked at her. She was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. The woman stepped closer. She studied James with those purple eyes. Then she spoke. In perfect English. "Human," she said, her voice soft but powerful. "You are far from home." James couldn't speak. His mouth was dry. She smiled slightly. "I am Queen Lorana of the Velothi Empire. And you are dying." James finally found his voice. "Yes. I am." Lorana looked at her soldiers. "Repair his ship. Give him oxygen. Food. Water." One soldier stepped forward. "Your Majesty, the Council said we should not contact humans." Lorana's eyes turned cold. "I am your queen. You follow my orders." The soldier bowed quickly. "Yes, Your Majesty." The soldiers left to work on the ship. Lorana stayed. She sat down across from James, studying him like he was a puzzle. James asked the question burning in his mind. "Why are you helping me?" Lorana tilted her head. "Because, human, you interest me." 2 weeks passed. James' ship was fully repaired. He could leave any time. Go back to Earth. Back to his normal life. But he didn't want to leave. Because of her. Every morning, Lorana came to his room. She brought him breakfast. Strange alien fruits that tasted like honey. Drinks that glowed blue. She sat with him and smiled. That smile made James forget about Earth completely. One day, Lorana said, "Come. I want to show you something." She took James through the massive ship. The walls were made of crystal. Everything glowed softly. Velothi people stopped and stared at the human walking with their queen. Some looked curious. Others looked angry. Lorana brought James to a large room. In the center was a hologram projector. She touched a button. Suddenly, James was standing on an alien planet. It wasn't real, just a hologram. But it was beautiful. Purple trees reached toward a pink sky. 2 suns hung in the air. Crystal cities sparkled in the distance. But something was wrong. The cities were empty. No people walking. No ships flying. Just silence. "This is my home," Lorana said quietly. "Planet Velith. Once, 10 billion people lived there. Now, only 2 million remain." James looked at her. "What happened?" Lorana's purple eyes looked sad. "We are dying, James. My people cannot have children anymore. Every year, fewer babies are born. In 100 years, the Velothi will be extinct. Gone forever." James felt his heart break for her. "I'm so sorry." Lorana touched his face gently. "You are kind, James Carter. Humans are so different from us. You feel things deeply. You care about strangers." She moved closer. "That is why I saved you. Because when I looked into your eyes, I saw something I lost long ago. Hope." That night, Lorana took James to the observation deck. They stood together, watching stars fly past the ship. The room was quiet. Just the two of them. "On my planet," Lorana whispered, "we have a saying. Some souls travel across galaxies to find each other." James turned to look at her. His heart was beating so fast. "Do you believe that?" Lorana looked into his eyes. "I do now." She leaned forward. James leaned forward. Their lips met. The kiss was soft. Gentle. Electric. James felt like his whole body was on fire. When they pulled apart, Lorana was smiling. A real, beautiful smile. "Stay with me," she whispered. "Don't go back to Earth. Stay here. With me." James didn't even think. "Yes. I'll stay." Lorana hugged him tight. James closed his eyes, feeling happy for the first time in years. He made his choice. He would give up everything for her. His career. His planet. His entire world. But someone was watching them from the shadows. Commander Drexus, the Queen's chief advisor. His face was cold. Emotionless. He turned and walked away silently. Later that night, while James slept peacefully, Drexus entered the Queen's private chamber. Lorana was standing by the window, looking at stars. She looked happy. Peaceful. "Your Majesty," Drexus said coldly. Lorana turned. Her smile disappeared. Drexus stepped closer. "The human suspect's nothing. He believes you love him." He paused. "When will you tell him the truth?" Lorana's face changed. The warmth left her eyes. She looked like a different person. Hard. Cold. Like a real queen. "Never," she said firmly. "He must never know what we really need him for." James Carter fell in love with Queen Lorana. He chose her over Earth. Over everything. But Commander Drexus knows a secret. Lorana is hiding something from James. Something dark. Something terrible. Now, 3 months have passed. James is living like a king. He thinks his life is perfect. But strange things are happening. And a scared servant girl is about to give James a warning. A warning that will change everything. 3 months passed like a dream. James was now officially the Queen's consort. The Velothi people slowly accepted him. Some even smiled at him in the hallways. Lorana gave him a title, Prince Consort of the Velothi Empire. James wore royal clothes now. Silver and blue, like Lorana's. He attended council meetings with her. He ate dinner with alien nobles. He lived in a palace made of crystal and starlight. Every night, Lorana held his hand and told him she loved him. James thought, "This is my life now. I am the luckiest man in the galaxy." But then, small things started feeling wrong. Every week, royal doctors came to his room. They smiled and said, "Just a health check, Prince Consort." They took his blood. Lots of blood. They scanned his body with strange machines. They asked questions about his family medical history. James asked Lorana, "Why so many health checks?" She kissed his forehead. "Because you are human. We want to make sure you stay healthy in our environment. We care about you." That made sense. James stopped asking questions. But other strange things happened too. Sometimes, Lorana disappeared for hours. She said, "Council business. Very boring. You would not want to attend." James also noticed locked doors in the palace. Big metal doors with red lights. When he asked guards about them, they looked nervous and said, "Research facilities. Private. Only authorized personnel allowed." One day, James was walking alone through the palace gardens. A young Velothi servant girl was watering the purple plants. She was small, maybe a teenager. When she saw James, her face went pale. Her hands started shaking. James smiled kindly. "Hello. Don't be afraid. I'm just walking." The girl looked around quickly. No guards nearby. She dropped her watering tool and grabbed James's arm. Her purple eyes were wide with fear. She whispered fast, "Leave, human. Please. While you still can. The Queen, she is not what you think. They are going to." Suddenly, two guards appeared from nowhere. They grabbed the girl roughly. She screamed. "No. Please. I just wanted to warn him. Please." James stepped forward. "Wait. Let her go. She didn't do anything wrong." One guard looked at James coldly. "She spoke without permission, Prince Consort. She will be punished." They dragged the girl away. She looked back at James, tears running down her silver face. "Run," she screamed. "Run before it's too late." Then she was gone. James stood frozen. His heart was beating fast. What did she mean? Run from what? That evening, James confronted Lorana in their bedroom. "What happened to that servant girl? The one who spoke to me?" Lorana was brushing her long silver hair. She didn't look at him. She was confused. Mentally unstable. "We sent her to get help. She told me to run," James said. "She said you're not what I think." What did she mean? Lorana finally turned. She walked to James and held his face in her hands. Her purple eyes looked directly into his. "James. Do you trust me?" James hesitated. Then nodded. "Yes." "Then trust me now." That girl was sick. She had delusions. Ignore what she said. Lorana kissed him softly. "I love you. That is the only truth that matters." James wanted to believe her. He really did. So he nodded and held her close. But that night, James couldn't sleep. Lorana was sleeping peacefully beside him. James got up quietly and walked through the empty palace halls. Everything was silent. His footsteps echoed. Then James saw it. The locked door from before. The one with the red light. But tonight, something was different. The door was open. Just a crack. Just a little bit. James knew he shouldn't look. He knew it was private. But the servant girl's scared face flashed in his mind. Her words, "Run before it's too late." James walked to the door. His hand shook. He pushed it open slowly. James found the secret room. Dozens of frozen human bodies in glass chambers. Now, he stands face to face with Lorana. The woman he loves. The woman who lied to him. James needs answers. He needs the truth. And tonight, he will find it. Tonight, he will learn why Lorana really saved him. And the truth will destroy him completely. James and Lorana stared at each other in the dark hallway. Neither moved. The silence was heavy like stone. Finally, James spoke. His voice shook. "What is that room, Lorana?" Lorana's mouth opened. Then closed. She looked away. "James, please. Come back to our room. I can explain." "Explain?" James' voice got louder. "There are dead humans in there. Dozens of them. Frozen like specimens." His hands were shaking. "Who are they? What did you do to them?" Lorana stepped forward. "James, listen to me." "No." James backed away. "Don't touch me. Just tell me the truth. For once, tell me the truth." Tears filled Lorana's purple eyes. "I cannot." James felt his heart break. "Then we're done." He turned and ran. Lorana called after him, "James, wait. Please." But he didn't stop. He ran through the crystal hallways, past sleeping guards, past empty rooms. He ran until he reached his old guest quarters. The room where he stayed when he first arrived. Before everything changed. Before the lies. James locked the door and collapsed on the bed. His mind was racing. "Think," he told himself. "Think clearly." James remembered something. He had royal access codes now. As Prince Consort, he could access the ship's computer systems. Maybe he could find answers there. James went to the wall terminal and typed in his codes. The screen lit up blue. He searched, "Human Research Project." The computer beeped. "Access restricted." James tried again, "Human specimens." "Storage." Another beep. "Access restricted." James hit the wall in frustration. Then he remembered. Lorana once gave him emergency override codes. "In case something happens to me," she had said. "You need to be able to protect yourself." James typed the override code with shaking fingers. This time, the screen turned green. "Access granted." Files appeared. Hundreds of files. James opened the first one. His blood went cold. The file was labeled, "Human Genetic Harvest Project, Year 47. James read fast, his eyes moving across terrible words. The Velothi were dying. Their DNA was damaged. They could not have children anymore. But 50 years ago, they discovered something. Human DNA was compatible with theirs. Humans could save the Velothi race. So they started capturing humans. Lone travelers. Explorers far from Earth. People nobody would miss. They brought them to secret facilities. Ran experiments. Extracted genetic material. Tried to create hybrid children. Most humans died in the process. James felt sick. He opened more files. Pictures of humans strapped to medical tables. Reports about failed experiments. Death counts. So many deaths. Then James found a file with his own name, subject, James Carter. His hands trembled as he opened it. Inside was everything. His complete medical history. His DNA analysis. And one sentence highlighted in red, compatibility rating, 97% highest ever recorded. Below that, a mission report written by Commander Drexus. Phase 1, complete. Subject rescued and brought aboard. Subject trusts Queen Lorana. Phase 2, complete. Subject emotionally attached. Will not attempt escape. Phase 3, in progress. Genetic material collection ongoing through weekly medical examinations. Phase 4, scheduled day 100. Full harvesting procedure. Extract all viable genetic material. Terminate subject if necessary to preserve samples. James stopped breathing. Today was day 99. Tomorrow, they were going to harvest him. Use him. Maybe kill him. And Lorana knew. She knew everything. Every kiss was a lie. Every I love you was fake. He was never her love. He was her science experiment. James closed his eyes. Tears ran down his face. How could he be so stupid? How could he believe an alien queen actually loved him? Suddenly, the door beeped. Someone was overriding the lock. The door slid open. Lorana stood there. Her face was wet with tears. Her silver skin looked pale. She looked broken. You know, she whispered. You found the files. James stood up. His voice was dead. Empty. Was any of it real? Lorana's tears fell faster. James, Answer me. James shouted. Did you ever love me? Even a little? Or was I always just a specimen to you? Lorana opened her mouth to answer. But before she could speak, alarms exploded through the ship. Loud. Deafening. Red warning lights flashed everywhere. The entire ship shook violently. A mechanical voice shouted, Alert! Hull breach detected. We are under attack. All personnel to battle stations. We are under attack. James discovered the terrible truth. Lorana never loved him. He was just an experiment. A way to save her dying race. Now, enemy ships are attacking. The palace is falling apart. Fire and explosions everywhere. Lorana is trapped under heavy metal. She cannot move. She is begging James to save her. But why should he? She destroyed him. She lied about everything. James has seconds to decide. Save her and risk his life. Or run and finally be free. What will he choose? James stared at Lorana. She was pinned under twisted metal. Blood ran down her silver skin. The ship shook again. More explosions. Closer now. Fire was spreading fast. James! Lorana screamed. Please! Every part of James wanted to run. To leave her there. She deserved it. She lied. She used him. She was going to kill him tomorrow. But then James saw her face. Real fear. Real pain. And something else. Regret. Commander Drexus suddenly appeared through the smoke. His uniform was torn. He had a weapon in his hand. He saw Lorana trapped and looked at James. Human, Drexus said coldly. Leave her. She was using you. She deserves this. James looked at Drexus. Then at Lorana. Then at the fire getting closer. He had to choose now. James ran. But not away. Toward Lorana. No! Drexus shouted. You fool! James grabbed the metal beam crushing Lorana's legs. It was hot. Burning his hands. He screamed but pulled harder. His muscles shook. The beam wouldn't move. James, stop! Lorana cried. Save yourself. Go! Shut up! James yelled. He pulled again with everything he had. The beam moved. Just a little. Then more. Finally, it lifted. Lorana pulled her legs free. They were badly hurt but she could move. James grabbed her arm and pulled her up. Another explosion threw them both against the wall. Debris fell everywhere. The ceiling was collapsing. Lorana looked at James. Shocked. Confused. Why, she gasped. After everything I did, why did you save me? James helped her walk through the smoke. Because I'm human, he said, voice hard. We don't leave people to die. Even people who broke our hearts. They ran through burning hallways. Other Velothi people were running too. Screaming. Trying to escape. The Kryn Empire ships were destroying everything. James saw the enemy ships through broken windows. Massive. Dark. firing red energy weapons. They reached the escape pod bay. Only 3 pods left. Velothi citizens were fighting to get inside them. Pushing. Shoving. Desperate. Drexus appeared again, running toward a pod. He looked back at James and Lorana. For a moment, his cold face showed something. Respect maybe. Then he was gone, his pod launching into space. James pulled Lorana toward the last pod. They climbed inside together. James hit the launch button. The pod shot out of the dying ship just as a massive explosion tore through it. The beautiful crystal palace broke apart. Pieces flew everywhere. Thousands of Velothi people died in seconds. The pod tumbled through space. Emergency lights flickered. Lorana and James sat across from each other. Both breathing hard. Both covered in cuts and burns. Outside the window, the wreckage floated past. So much death. So much destruction. Silence filled the small pod. Just the sound of their breathing and quiet beeping from the life support system. Finally, Lorana spoke. Her voice was barely a whisper. It started as a mission, James. The council ordered me to find a compatible human. To seduce him. To gain his trust. That was my duty as queen. She looked down at her shaking hands. Tears fell onto her silver skin. But James. She looked up at him. Her purple eyes were broken. Honest. Raw. I fell in love with you. Really. Truly. I tried not to. I told myself it was just the mission. But every time you smiled at me, every time you held my hand, I felt something I never felt in 500 years. James said nothing. His face was stone. Lorana continued, crying now. I told the council I wouldn't go through with Phase 4. I said I would find another way. They were angry. They said I was betraying our entire race for one human. She wiped her eyes. I didn't care. I chose you, James. I was going to tell you everything today. I was going to ask you to run away with me. James finally spoke. His voice was cold. I don't believe you. Lorana nodded slowly. I know. I don't deserve your belief. She took a shaking breath. But I need to tell you one more thing. The worst thing. James looked at her. What could possibly be worse than everything else? James and Lorana escaped the burning ship. But Lorana revealed the final secret. She is pregnant with James's child. A human Velothi hybrid. The first ever. But her people want the baby for experiments. To save their dying race. Now, James and Lorana must make an impossible choice. Stay together and lose everything. Or tear themselves apart forever. This is the end of their story. And it will break your heart. The escape pod drifted for 2 days. Finally, it reached a neutral moon station. A trading post between different alien species. James and Lorana landed safely. Station security helped them out. They gave Lorana medical treatment for her injured legs. They gave James food and water. Within hours, the Velothi fleet arrived. 12 warships. They came to rescue their queen. Commander Drexus survived too. He came to the station with the High Council. 5 old Velothi leaders. They wore dark robes. Their faces were hard and cold. They met in a conference room. James and Lorana sat on one side of the table. The council sat on the other side. Guards stood at every door. The head counselor spoke first. He was ancient. Maybe 1,000 years old. Your Majesty. We are relieved you survived. Now, you must return home immediately. And bring the human with you. Lorana held James's hand under the table. Why do you need him? The counselor's purple eyes looked at James like he was a piece of meat. Because our scans show what we hoped for. The human successfully impregnated you. The child growing inside you has a 98% viability rate. This child can save our entire species. Another council member leaned forward. We need the child, Your Majesty. We need its genetic code. We need to study it. Learn from it. Use it to heal our people. James felt sick. You mean experiment on my child? We mean save 2 million Velothi lives, the counselor said coldly. Your child is the key. One life to save millions. That is a fair trade. Lorana stood up, angry. No. This is my child. Not an experiment. I will not let you touch it. The room went silent. The council members looked shocked. Nobody spoke to them like that. Not even their queen. The head counselor stood slowly. His voice was like ice. Then you leave us no choice, Lorana. We give you an ultimatum. Return home. Give us the human and the child for our research. Or lose your throne. Lose your title. Lose everything. You will be exiled. Alone. Powerless. You will never see your homeworld again. Lorana's hand squeezed James's tighter. The counselor continued. You have until tomorrow morning to decide. Choose your people. Or choose the human. You cannot have both. The council left the room. Only James and Lorana remained. Guards locked the door from outside. They were prisoners now. That night, James and Lorana stood by the station's viewing deck. Stars filled the black sky. Beautiful and cold. Just like everything else. I'm sorry, Lorana whispered. I brought you into this nightmare. James looked at her. He was still angry. Still hurt. But he was also tired. Tired of hating. You did terrible things, Lorana. You lied to me. Used me. Almost killed me. I know, she said quietly. But, James continued, you also saved me. You chose me over your own people. You protected our child. He touched her stomach gently. That means something. Lorana started crying. I love you, James. That is the one true thing in all my lies. I love you. James felt tears in his own eyes. I love you too. But love is not enough, is it? Love cannot save your people. Love cannot protect our child. Love cannot fix what is broken between us. They both knew he was right. Some things are too broken to fix. Some choices have no good answer. Morning came. The council returned. What is your decision, Your Majesty? Lorana stood tall. Like a real queen. I will return to my people. I will work with your scientists. We will use our child's DNA to save the Velothi race. But we do it safely. Carefully. The child will be raised knowing both worlds. Human and Velothi. And when the child is old enough, they will choose their own path. The council nodded. Acceptable. And the human? Lorana looked at James. Her purple eyes were filled with pain. James goes back to Earth. He returns to his people. He lives his life. He forgets about me. James felt his heart shatter. Lorana. Please, she whispered. This is the only way to keep you safe. If you stay, the council will never stop hunting you. They will use you for more experiments. They will never let you go. But if you leave now, you can be free. James wanted to argue. To fight. But deep down, he knew she was right. They said goodbye at the docking bay. One last hug. One last kiss. Lorana touched his face. I will tell our child about you. Every day. I will tell them their father was brave. And kind. And good. Tell them their mother loved them more than anything, James whispered back. Lorana boarded her ship. James boarded a transport back to Earth. They looked at each other through the windows. One last look. Then the ships moved apart. Slowly. Then faster. Until they were just lights in the darkness. Then nothing. Epilogue. 10 years later. James returned to Earth. He became a teacher. He taught children about space, about stars, about the mysteries of the universe. He never married. He never forgot Lorana. Every night, he looked at the stars and wondered about his child. Was it a boy or girl? Did they have purple eyes or human eyes? Were they happy? One evening, James was sitting in his small house on the edge of the city. The doorbell rang. Strange. He wasn't expecting anyone. James opened the door. And his heart stopped. A young girl stood there. Maybe 9 years old. She had silver skin that glowed softly in the evening light. But her eyes were human. Brown. Just like his. 5 years have passed since Lorana and Kira came to Earth. James, Lorana, and their daughter Kira live together as a family now. But peace never lasts forever. Today, a message arrived from space. A message that will change everything again. The Velothi Council found them. And they are coming. This is the final chapter. The last battle. And this time, James must choose between his family and the entire galaxy. James Carter was in his backyard, teaching 14-year-old Kira how to repair a small spacecraft engine. Kira's silver hands were covered in oil. Her brown eyes focused on the work. She looked so much like both of them. Human determination. Velothi grace. Dad, I think I fixed it. Kira said excitedly. James smiled. Good. Now test the ignition. Kira pressed the button. The engine hummed to life. Perfect. She jumped up and hugged James. I did it. Lorana watched from the porch, smiling. She wore simple Earth clothes now. Jeans and a sweater. Her silver skin still glowed softly, but she looked peaceful. Happy. She was teaching human children about alien cultures at the local school. The humans accepted her slowly. Some were afraid at first. But Lorana was patient. Kind. Now, she was part of the community. Life was good. Simple. Normal. Everything James ever wanted. Then the sky turned dark. Kira looked up. Dad? What is that? A massive shadow covered the sun. James's blood went cold. He knew that shape. A Velothi warship. The biggest class. A dreadnought. Lorana ran from the house, her face pale. No. They found us. The ship descended slowly, hovering above their small town. People screamed and ran. Cars crashed. Chaos everywhere. The ship's speakers boomed with a voice James remembered. Commander Drexus. James Carter. Lorana. We know you are here. Come peacefully, or we will take you by force. Kira grabbed James's arm. Dad, I'm scared. James pulled both Lorana and Kira close. Stay behind me. A beam of light shot down from the ship. 6 Velothi soldiers materialized in the backyard. And behind them, Commander Drexus himself. Older now. More scars on his face. But the same cold eyes. Your Majesty, Drexus said, bowing slightly to Lorana. The Council requests your return. And the child's. Lorana stepped forward. We are not going back. We have a life here now. Drexus smiled, but it was not friendly. You misunderstand. This is not a request. The Velothi race is dying again. The genetic treatments stopped working. We need fresh samples. We need the child. And we need more humans. James felt rage boiling inside him. You will not touch my daughter. Drexus looked at James with cold amusement. One human cannot stop us, Carter. We have an army. What do you have? Suddenly, engines roared overhead. James looked up. Earth military jets screamed across the sky. Dozens of them. And behind them, larger ships. Human warships. When did Earth build those? A new voice came through a loudspeaker. Human this time. Attention Velothi vessel. This is Earth Defense Command. You are in violation of Earth's sovereign airspace. Leave immediately or we will open fire. Drexus looked surprised for the first time. Earth has a military fleet? James smiled. You've been gone 5 years, Drexus. We've been preparing. We knew you would come back eventually. A human military commander appeared on a hologram screen. Mr. Carter. Is your family safe? For now, James said. But they want to take my daughter. The commander's face hardened. That will not happen. Earth protects its citizens. All of them. Including your wife and daughter. Drexus laughed. You would start a war over one child? Yes, the commander said simply. We would. Drexus looked at his soldiers. Then at the sky full of human warships. Then back at James. This is not over, Carter. The Velothi race is dying. We will do whatever necessary to survive. Then find another way, James said firmly. My daughter is not your experiment. Not now. Not ever. Drexus stared at James for a long moment. Then he signaled his soldiers. The beam of light pulled them back up to the ship. Within seconds, the massive dreadnought turned and shot into space, disappearing beyond the stars. Kira was shaking. Lorana held her tight. It's okay, baby. They're gone. But James knew the truth. They would be back. Maybe not today. Maybe not this year. But someday, the Velothi would return. And next time, they might bring more ships. More weapons. More desperation. That night, after Kira went to sleep, James and Lorana sat on their porch. Silent. Thinking. We cannot run forever, Lorana whispered. I know, James said. And I cannot let my people die either, Lorana continued. They are desperate. Dying races do terrible things. James held her hand. So what do we do? Lorana looked at the stars. We find a third option. A better way. I still have friends in the Velothi science community. Good people who do not want war. Maybe they can develop a treatment that does not require taking children. Does not require experiments. James nodded slowly. Can it work? I don't know, Lorana admitted. But we have to try. For Kira. For both our peoples. 20 years have passed. James and Lorana are old now. Their daughter Kira is a mother herself. Earth and Velith live in peace. But today, something strange happened. A message came from deep space. From a place nobody has ever seen before. The message says, we are coming. We are the creators of the Velothi. And we want our property back. A new threat is rising. And this time, humans and Velothi must fight together. Or die together. James Carter was 70 years old now. His hair was gray. His hands shook a little. But his eyes were still sharp. Still kind. He sat in his living room, watching the news on a hologram screen. Lorana sat beside him. Her silver skin had faded slightly with age. But she was still beautiful to James. Always would be. Their granddaughter, Maya, played on the floor. She was 5 years old. She had silver skin like her grandmother. But human hair. Brown and curly. And she had both purple and brown in her eyes. A perfect mix of both species. Grandpa, Maya asked. Tell me the story again. About how you and Grandma met. James smiled. Again? I told you yesterday. But I love that story. Maya said, hugging his leg. Before James could answer, the hologram screen flashed red. Emergency broadcast. A serious-looking human officer appeared. "Attention all citizens. This is Earth Defense Command. We have received an unknown transmission from outside our galaxy. The message is in an ancient Velothi dialect. We are translating it now. Please stand by." Lorana sat up straight. Her face went pale. Ancient Velothi? That language has been dead for 10,000 years. The screen changed. The translation appeared. "People of Earth. People of Velith. Hear us. We are the architects. We created the Velothi species 12,000 years ago as an experiment. We left them to evolve. To grow. To multiply. But they failed. They became weak. Broken. They contaminated themselves with inferior human DNA. This was not our design. We are returning to correct our mistake. We will reclaim our property. We will destroy the human contamination. We will rebuild the Velothi as they should have been. Prepare yourselves. We arrive in 30 days. Resistance is irrelevant. Your species do not matter. Only our design matters. The architects have spoken." The message ended. Silence filled the room. Maya looked scared. "Grandpa? What does that mean?" James pulled her close. His hands were not shaking anymore. His voice was steady. Strong. "It means, sweetheart, that your grandma and I have one more fight left in us." Lorana stood up. She looked at James. They did not need words. After 25 years together, they could read each other's thoughts. "We need to call Kira," Lorana said. James nodded. "In the Council. In Earth Defense. Everyone." Within hours, representatives from both species gathered in an emergency meeting. Earth President Martinez spoke first. "The architects. Do we know anything about them?" An old Velothi scientist stood up. His name was Scholar Varix. "The architects are mentioned in our oldest legends. We thought they were myths. Stories to explain our creation. But if they are real..." He paused. "Then we are in great danger. The legends say they have technology beyond our understanding. They can destroy planets with a thought. They see organic life as art projects. Experiments. Nothing more." President Martinez looked grim. "Can we fight them? Alone?" "No," Varix said. "But together? Maybe." Kira stood up. She was 44 now. A respected ambassador. Strong like her father. Wise like her mother. "Then we fight together. Earth and Velith. As one united force. My parents proved that two species can become one family. Now we prove it on a larger scale." The room erupted in agreement. For the next 30 days, both species worked together. Building weapons. Training soldiers. Preparing defenses. Velothi scientists shared their advanced shield technology. Human engineers created new weapon systems. Children like Maya were evacuated to underground bunkers. James and Lorana volunteered for the defense force. The commanders said they were too old. James laughed. "Too old? I survived the Kryn attack. I survived Velothi experiments. I survived loving this woman for 25 years. I think I can handle one more battle." Lorana smiled. "We fight together. Like always."